Hey, hey, welcome to Live with Lynn. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay so I know you were here. I'm Lynn Huber, and I appreciate you being here today. So today I'm going to talk about 9 things that remarkably successful people never do. Do you find yourself settling or compromising or just getting by on autopilot? Maybe you've stopped paying attention or maybe you've fallen into bad habits or maybe you've grown complacent. It's so easy to do, right? I mean, we just keep moving along, and we know it, we're in a rut, and we without even realizing it. And so I've talked a lot about watching what successful people do and how we can learn from them, whether they're in our field or not. I mean, even somebody super successful like Oprah, right? I believe that success leaves clues, and we can learn a lot from these super successful people and how they live their lives. Hi, Anitra. Good morning. Hi, Pamela. Good to see you. So, remarkably successful people don't compromise on their standards. They don't settle for less than what they hope to achieve. And they definitely don't put their lives on autopilot. They believe success only comes from intention and action. And so they live that way. So, I found 9 things that remarkably successful people never do. So, number one, they never let the past dictate their future. We all have limitations, right? We all have challenges. We all make mistakes. The key is not to be constrained by those things, but instead to learn from those. It's easier. I know it's easier said than done. It all depends on your perspective. So take mistakes. When something goes wrong, turn it into an opportunity to learn something you didn't know, especially about yourself. That's what mistakes are always, well, that didn't work. Now I need to try something else, right? And when something goes wrong for someone else, turn it into an opportunity to be gracious and forgiving. So, where you've been, what you've done, everything in your past is just training. Everything in our lives is just training for where we are now. And remarkably successful people believe their past should inform them, but never define them. Isn't that powerful? Your past informs you, but it doesn't define you. So, number 2, they never gossip. I know, it's hard to resist the inside scoop, right? Finding out the reasons behind somebody's decisions, the motivations behind somebody's actions, or maybe the skinny behind someone's hidden agenda, much less whether Richard is dating Mary in accounting, right? Those conversations are hard to resist sometimes. But unfortunately, the person who gossips about other people is also gossiping about you. And suddenly, gossip isn't so much fun, right? When it's about you. So next time you're tempted to talk about another person, think about whether what you're going to say is what you would say to that person's face. And if not, then don't say it, right? And the next time someone starts to talk about someone else, excuse yourself and walk away. You don't have to worry about that you're going to lose that gossiper's respect because anyone willing to gossip doesn't respect other people anyway. When remarkably successful people want to share the inside scoop, they just talk openly about their own thoughts and feelings. That way they're not gossiping, they're just being genuine, right? When they talk about their own thoughts and feelings, and it's not about how somebody else is doing something wrong, right? Now, number 3, they never say yes when they really mean no. So refusing a request from colleagues or customers or even friends is hard. It's really hard. But rarely does saying no ever go as badly as you think it's going to. I mean, most people understand. And if they don't, should you care too much about what they think? When you say no, you only feel bad for a few moments. When you agree to something you really don't want to do, you might feel bad for a long time, or at least as long as it takes for you to do what it was you didn't want to do in the first place. So remarkably successful people, they practice saying no. They've gotten really good at it. They know that saying no lets them focus on doing what they really need to do for themselves and for other people. Number 4, they never interrupt. This is a hard one for me, right? When you interrupt someone, what you're really saying is, I'm not thinking about what you're saying. I'm thinking about what I want to say. And what I want to say is so important, you need to hear it right now. Want better professional relationships? Want better personal relationships? Then listen. Truly listen to what other people say. And then ask questions to make sure you understand. Remarkably successful people already know what they think. They want to learn from what you think. They want to learn from you or what everyone else thinks, right? Number 5, they're never late without an incredibly good reason, right? I know you're overwhelmed, and so you're always running behind. It stresses you out like crazy, and it makes other people resent you like crazy. Whenever you're late, other people rightly assume that you feel your time is more important than theirs, which of course kills your chance of building an outstanding personal or professional relationship with that person, right? And although you might believe you can't help it, the truth is being late is a choice. So you allow yourself to be late. Remarkably successful people start their day a little earlier. They arrive early to their first scheduled event or appointment. They don't worry that they're going to waste time. They plan ahead and they bring along whatever they need to use any early time to get a few simple things done. Maybe they'll sit in their car outside of the appointment before going in, right? But then they feel a whole lot less stressed, and as a result, they're more insightful, more creative, more decisive, and simply more on, just on in everything they do, right? Number 6, they never resent. So Nelson Mandela said, resentment, resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies, right? This same thing holds for bitterness and jealousy and dislike. When you hold on to that ill will, the only person who loses is you. So remarkably successful people put all that emotional energy into focusing not on what others have done, but what they themselves will do. Number 7, they never decide that they don't have the time. Everyone knows someone who just seems to get a whole lot more done than other people, right? It's the craziest thing. I mean, how do these folks do it? They must have no life, right? Actually, they have a great life. They've just figured out what is important to them and they're making it happen. So figure out what's important to you. Strip away all the stuff that isn't important and then make it happen. We're all given the same amount of time. The only difference is how we use that time. Remarkably successful people use their time. They use it right and they use it to their benefit. And number 8, they never fit in just to fit in. I mean, the whole entire industries are based on making us think otherwise, right? No one actually likes us for the clothes we wear or the car we drive or the house we live in. When I was growing up, it was 501 jeans. Well, when I was in my early 20s, I guess it was 501 jeans. You had to have those 501 jeans, right? I mean, isn't that how it always is, right? No one likes us for our titles either. I mean, those are all things. And while other people might, in fact, like our things, that doesn't mean that they like you, right? And even if they do, that doesn't mean you like yourself. It's really what it boils down to, right? So remarkably successful people have decided to just be who they are. They don't try to fit in or make an artificial impression. That they know they might lose a bunch of acquaintances, but they also know that they're going to gain some real friends because they don't have time or the desire to try to fit in or to try to try to impress people, because they're just who they are. They just be them, and the right people will follow them, right? And number 9, they're never afraid to do the things that matter. So the quote, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself," is true, but in some ways, maybe a better quote might be, "The only thing we have to fear is ourselves." Why? Well, we're all afraid. We're scared of what might or might not happen. We're scared of what we can't change. We're scared of what we won't be able to do. We're scared of how others might perceive us. I think this is a big one for a lot of us. What will they think of me? We're all scared of those things, right? But that makes us hesitate or wait for the right moment, or decide that we need to think a little longer or do some more research or explore a few more alternatives. And then days, weeks, months, and sometimes even years pass us by, and so do our dreams. Don't let your fears hold you back. Whatever you've been planning, whatever you've imagined, whatever you've dreamed of, get started on it now, today. If you want to start a business, take the first step. I'd love to help you if you want to join Avon. If you want to grow your business, take the first step. You've got to take the action, right? If you want to change careers, take that step. Remarkably successful people put their fears aside, out of their way, and they just get started. They just do it. They do something, anything, just to get started. And remarkably successful people, they're afraid. They're often afraid, but they're more afraid of looking back and thinking, if only I had. So don't you look back and think, if only I had. Take that step. You got this. So hey, so now I'd love to hear from you. Do you find yourself doing some of the things I talked about? I know I do, some of them, a lot more than I'd like to admit. So please get down in the comments and share your thoughts down below. I would love to see, I would just love to hear your stories. So Anitra said, I think that's where I'm stuck with doing lives, fears of what people think. It's true, you have to let that go. You have to let go of what people will think. So anyway, I want to thank Pamela and Anitra for being live with me today, and anyone else who might be live who just didn't comment, and anyone who's watching the replay. I appreciate you. So go out there and have an amazing day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.